We are here with Ralph Garcea, who is Vice President of Business Development for Newgioco, which is a company that a lot of people are just learning about. We've titled our directory a directory of companies in the emerging U.S. gaming industry. So it's really appropriate that we talk with you today, Ralph, because Newgioco is one of those companies that is emerging and people have an opportunity here to learn about. Tell us, we discussed off camera that you're a Delaware company, you're listed in OTC up in Canada, you're in the process of being listed in the US, your businesses are currently are in Italy, so for a small company you cover a lot of geography. Tell us a little bit about Newgioco.
Yeah. On the OTC listing, it's actually in the US, on the QB market, and that was really historical purposes where the original shell was. That was used to do the acquisitions to bring together the critical assets of Newgioco. It's been 20 years plus in Italy, developed an integrated platform to offer sportsbook, online slots, poker, lottery tickets, etc. Headquartered in Rome, Italy. Development's done in Austria. Got about 70 employees or so across all the different offices. And it was really, at the end of last year, we're up to 35 million in revenue and just under 4 million in adjusted EBITDA. So the company's been around for many years. The platform operates over 1,200 locations in Italy. The listing in the US really provided the capital initially to do the roll-up strategy, and now I think we're ready to uplist at some point to the NASDAQ.
So what is your plan for the US?
From the way the product was developed in Italy, through all the different regions in Italy wanting their own skins, and then the multitude of shops that we have there, it really is, I think, the most flexible product on the market, and we think that's the way the US tribal market will evolve. Over 460 tribal casinos in the US, they're each going to want their own customized version, let's say, once let's assume all 50 states at some point get regulated. That flexibility in the platform, allowing us to customize by tribe, is where we focused on. So our first tribal announcement was in Montana with Northern Winds Casino, and I think we'll use that as a launching pad to address some of the other opportunities in the U.S. And as some of the states that get regulated going forward that aren't linked to land-based casino and will allow sports bars, taverns, etc. to regulate and offer sports books, our product's perfectly set up to allow those guys to manage risk, and we'll run the product on a SaaS basis in the U.S. So the operator will take on the risk, we'll manage that for them, taking a percentage of handle, let's say, as we go forward in the U.S. market. But there really is those two markets we're focusing in on, the tribal side and the commercial.
And on the commercial side, you are aiming more at what you might call the slot route operators or the individual taverns or restaurants more than the casinos.
That's correct. And again, our launching pad in the U.S. will be Montana through Fleetwood Gaming. John Dealer, who is the founder of Fleetwood, he owns 10 sports bars in Montana, as well as well recognized in the state. He was one of the top slot operators in the state. And they've just passed SB 330, which is the sports betting law in the state. Hopefully the governor signs it over the next few days. And that opportunity in those 10 sports bars, our risk management software is really our secret sauce. It'll allow John to manage the risk across the 10 bars. We'll know in real time what his exposure is, on any sport, on any bet, in aggregate across his full network. And the risk management tool is really our strongest point, and it shows in the margins. I mean, these last 2 days here, everybody's talked about 4, 5, 6% hold type books in Nevada, New Jersey, and some of the other states. In Italy, we run at 15 to 18%, and it really is that risk management product that allows us to get better profitability for our operators and our partners.
You do about $35 million a year. You have the past year in Italy, all Italy. How do you see the potential for you in the United States from a, say, revenue perspective?
So in Italy, the 35 million was on about 420 or so million in handle. All 100% Italy, 100% regulated last year. We've guided to north of 500 million in handle, just Italy for this fiscal year. In the U.S. market, we've been modeling with 5 states and 5 tribal casino networks in those states over the next 12 to 24 months. And 1 or 2 restaurant chains, we can probably generate 500 million in handle over that time period. So, we think there's an opportunity, one, to double in Italy over the next 2 years, just organically. The Italian market's still growing mid-teens year over year. And then another opportunity to potentially double in the U.S. just with those 5 states. And again, we've stayed away from New Jersey, Pennsylvania, let the big guys battle out those states because they have the casinos and resorts where the licenses are linked to. And we'll focus on Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota, Washington State, the Northwest and North Midwest, for 2 reasons there. 1, the big guys aren't there with their resorts. 2, it's tribal country. We've got a great virtual generation product where we're developing now a virtual Indian horse relay product for that market. We'll be the first to market, and probably the only to market, a virtual game of that nature. And that allows us to compete nicely against the likes of Inspired and Golden Race, etc., for the tribal market.
And your stock is not overly expensive, so you have an opportunity actually, if you bring that stock price up to a reasonable valuation, you're really talking about perhaps growing several times over the next couple of years.
That's one of the reasons. I was a sell-side analyst for over 23 years, covering the sector. I was at Credit Suisse, at Cantor, etc. It was an opportunity I couldn't pass over last summer to leave my previous firm and join Mike full-time on this adventure. And I think the stock's undervalued. It's not well known in the U.S. market. I think as we start winning more contracts, we've got our first 2 out of Montana. I think people will start to realize 35 million in revenue, just under 4 million in EBITDA. We're trading at just over half times revenue and 5 times EBITDA. It's a great value story now, and we've got 2 growth vectors ahead of us. Actually 3. We've got Italy, the U.S., and we continue to grow in other global markets. We've got opportunities in Africa, in Cameroon, Nigeria, opportunities in Germany, opportunities in South America, all with our virtual product first, and then we'll cross-sell the sports book into those markets.
Okay, that sounds like a good story. One thing we haven't discussed was mobile, and my understanding is you get half your revenue now from mobile, so you're not just an on-site operator.
That's correct. Again, that's how the Italian market has evolved. Italy's probably 10 years behind the UK. Right now, the market's 93% land-based still, 7% online. But we do allow bettors, when they go into some of these coffee shops, etc., to bet mobily on a phone or tablet. Right now, our split's probably 50-50, land-based at terminals and mobile. And we see considerable opportunity there to grow that, especially in the restaurant market. If you can go with a mobile POS at the table, have customers place bets on their tablets or their smartphones when they're in a sports bar watching a football game or a baseball match. The product's fully integrated to do that on the mobile side.
Anything else folks should know about Newgioco?
I think it's a great investment here as we start in the U.S. market. Our first entry into the market was really last October at G2E. We had a private suite there, 3 days, full demos back to back with many tribes. I think we got a great opportunity there in the tribal market, and then as some of these other states come live with the commercial opportunities where we're not tied to any resorts, etc. That'll be extra revenue growth for us going forward. So, and just a reminder that Italy is still a very healthy market on the sports betting side. It's well ahead of the UK. We don't have similar problems of slowing growth that the UK is seeing, and I think it's just a great opportunity for us. And then lastly, we got a great poker product and online slots in Italy, and we use that as a cross-selling vehicle, where the propensity for a poker player to bet an extra $1 or $2 on sportsbook while he's waiting for a flop in a Texas Hold'em tournament is there, and we've seen that. So we got plenty of opportunities to drive our growth going forward.
Okay. Ralph's a great overview. Thank you.
Thank you.